Every day we encounter many people without saying a word to them. Imagine being able to share the gift of joy with them, to bring a smile to their face or give them a spark of inspiration. Without saying a word, you can positively impact their life by simply wearing a humanity. Humanity also offers a unique approach to engage friends in enlightened conversation, all while exhibiting classic style. These shirts have been pre-shrunk to maintain their shape and pigment after washing. You will find this shirt is neither too light nor too heavy for your usual daily activities. Whether you're into casual lounging, active layering, or just want the softest t-shirt against your skin, you'll be pleasantly surprised by this traditional tee. To view our diverse product line, visit our website and click on the Humanity tab. Humanity, the very best in inspirational apparel.
Not cutting, but untying. And so the universe then has no choice. First attribute of the secret place. The secret place is a place. I don't know what happened, but somehow we lost the introduction there. Good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Momentum. This is a ministry movement of the Emerge movement where we are empowering people on their journey towards spiritual wholeness. And I am so glad that those of you who are on are joining me tonight as we get ready to engage in another conscious conversation that I am certain will bless you, encourage you, inspire you, and empower you to move forward. I'm so glad that you've chosen to be with me on tonight. It's an exciting time for us to be alive, and some great things are happening all around this world, but specifically in our time zone where we are right now. There are things unfolding in the universe that are happening in this period of time. There's such an intense movement and flow of energy that has been released and is activated in the atmosphere and throughout the universe. And so you are in the perfect place at the perfect time. Yes, to experience full manifestation, creativity, connectivity, like you have not experienced before, or maybe like you have not experienced in quite some time. And so I want you to really take advantage of this time, of this period of time that we are in right now. Listen, if you will do me a favor, those of you who are on with me right now, and there's only just 3 or 4 of us on here, if you'll go ahead and hit the share button and share this broadcast right now on your page. Those of you on YouTube, you hit the share button and then copy the link and just send it out to as many people as you'd like, so that you can alert everyone that we are on the air and they can come and participate in the conscious conversation that we're about to have tonight. So if you'll do that for me, and while you are sharing, please, if you should happen to remember or recall or think of someone that you think would benefit from being a part of this conversation, then go ahead and tag them right now in the comments. Tag as many people as you desire. so that they're able to come over and participate in a much needed, timely, impactful conversation that we will be having tonight. Go ahead and tag them right now in the comments so that they can come and share as we prepare to get into the teaching. And while you are tagging all of your friends and loved ones and letting them know where we are, I want to remind you to go over and to visit our website at www.aimministriesinternational.org. It's the web address that's on your screen right now. There you will find more information, in-depth insight to what the Emerge movement is all about, what it entails, what our mission is, our goal, our vision is for the future. You'll be able to tap in and see all that we have going on, as well as to go and visit our online store that's there. And in that online store, you'll be able to get the ebook of my new book that's been released, or you can order the paperback book there, as well as various t-shirts, sweatshirts, and other things, and other types of apparel there that are designed by yours truly. So if you'd like to order, just simply go to the website that's on your screen and visit the online store. But more importantly, read over the information there and learn more about what this movement is about. We are a virtual, spiritual community, not religious community, a spiritual community that is aiding, empowering, and reaching out to those who are endeavoring to grow, develop, and evolve in their spiritual relationship with God, to come to a place of more spiritual wholeness within themselves, without all of the hustle and bustle and rules and regulations and requirements that come, and trappings that come with being a part of an organized religion or brick and mortar church. This is a place where you can come and find the kind of insight, revelation, teaching, encouragement, and inspiration that you need in order to aid you in being the best and highest version of yourself. And I would love to have you be a part of this movement, to be a part of our family. If you should, after reading over the information there, decide that you'd like even more information about Emerge, or you'd like to become a partner with us, all you got to do is just simply send me an email to the email address that's on your screen right now. And when you send that email, you just need to include 3 words: I want in. The moment that I receive your email, I will send you out an information packet that gives you even more in-depth and detailed information about the movement, as well as what partnership involves. It's not as brutal as you might think. Doesn't have a lot of extreme requirements. You will be pleasantly surprised when you look at what the partnership involves. And then after reading over, should you decide that you'd like to indeed become a partner, you simply sign the partnership agreement and send it back to me by way of email, and you are in. That's all it takes. You're in, and we will gladly welcome you to the family. You'll see scrolling at the bottom of your screen, those of you who have not done so already, sign up for our free text notification that will allow you to know when we are getting ready to come on the air and have other conscious conversations. We do have a schedule that we try and follow, but then, as many of you already know, that as I feel the unction or leadership to do so, I may come on any day of the week or any time in the evening. And if you want to make sure that you are always alerted to when we are going to be on the air, simply text the word Emerge to 833-444-0163, and you will receive a text message to your phone every single time we're getting ready to come on the air. It's absolutely free, doesn't cost you anything but the 15 to 20 seconds that it takes you So text the word emerge to 833-444-0163, and you will automatically be signed up for free text notifications. All right, I'm going to turn that off and thank God for all of you that have joined me tonight. Tonight, our topic of discussion tonight is about spirits being human. Spirits being human. And I have really felt the urgency to have this conversation with you tonight, centered around this particular topic or idea. I have posted a little bit about it today, but it's something that has really weighed heavily upon me, because we are living in a time and in a period where people have seemingly become more divided and divisive than any other time before, that we have not really understood, embraced, or maybe grasped the idea of the innate divine oneness that we all share. As I've talked before during our series about rediscovering your identity and embracing your divinity, that we are all one with God. There is no separation. It is the illusion of separation that leads to dysfunction in our relationship as it relates to God. But that when you recognize that we are not separated from God, that there is no separation, that that God is not some only external entity or being outside of us that's sitting up in some place in the sky on a throne, sitting high, looking low, but God is the ever-present spirit inside of us, that God is a divine spirit, consciously aware of itself being human, and that each of us emanate or originate in the mind of God, released out of the isness of God and put into three-dimensional form, that we are all a divine expression of God. We are a divine expression experiencing itself as being human. And since all things come of God, everything has its genesis, its beginning, and inside of God, God is the ultimate divine creator, the all of everything. Then not only are we all one with God, but everything that exists is one with God. It's interwoven and interconnected with God. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, since all of nature and all of the universe, all of the elements, all of existence, all of everything is indeed interconnected with God, and we are one with God, then we also are one with all of creation. We are one with all of creation, one with the universe, one with the elements, the stars, the moons, the planet, all of space and time and all dimensions. We are interconnected, interwoven, and tied together as one. And then, ladies and gentlemen, then further still, since we are one with God, one with nature, one with the universe and all of the particles and elements that exist in the earth realm, then we are also one with each other. Each one of us are an expression, a unique expression of the one God. Let me say that again. Each of us are a unique expression of the one God. That God is now manifested in multiple billions upon trillions of individual, unique forms, each of them possessing the fullness of God within them, but having individualized souls. Each of them, let me say again, having the fullness of God bodily housed or contained within them at their core, but each having individualized souls. Each of us having our own consciousness, feelings, emotions, attachments, intellect. But ladies and gentlemen, we are at our core, at our essence, at the substratum of our being, we are multiple expressions of the one God. Multiple expressions and experiences of the one God, and God is imminently experiencing itself as being human through us, in us, through us, and as us. Let me repeat that God is imminently experiencing itself being human in us, through us, and as us. So, ladies and gentlemen, that means that we ought to then recognize that every person I encounter, every individual, every person, every being that I encounter in life is just a different version of the same spirit that I am. So in essence and in fact, I never really meet anyone new. I am just meeting a different version of myself. Are you hearing me? I'm never really meeting anyone new. I am meeting a unique version of myself. The same spirit, but an individualized soul. Are you understanding me? Ladies and gentlemen, that connection, that oneness, that concept, an idea of us all being unique expressions of the one is something that has seemingly been lost in society throughout humanity, but more specifically in our country now, amongst all of humanity, that we tend to have embraced this idea of separation, division, and that division or concept of division has led to divisiveness. Let me say again, that concept or idea or embrace of division or separateness has now mushroomed and morphed, manifesting in divisiveness. I don't know if you've noticed it or not. I have been paying close attention to it, and it is becoming more and more severe with every passing day. There is a strange dichotomy, that's happening in the earth realm. There is a mass awakening that is taking place in humanity that is freeing multiple and multitudes of people from the trappings of religious dogma, culture, environment, thinking that they are bound to a particular mindset or a particular religious ideology. But at the same time, here is the dichotomy, at the same time that we are awakening from the darkness of religious dogma, legalism, and bondage, many are now also succumbing and surrendering to the darkness of the illusion of separation. Woo! Yes, the darkness of the illusion of separation. Again, the illusion, because separation is indeed an illusion and a delusion. It is the illusion of separation that is at the foundation of all of the angst and the divisiveness that we are experiencing in humanity. We have somehow lost sight of the idea or the understanding or this truth that each of us, and please hear what I'm about to say, that each of us, every single one of you that are watching me right now, as well as every person you encounter, each of us has intrinsic value. Let me say that again. We all have intrinsic value and worth. That there are no worthless, valueless, useless humans. I don't care what their station is in life might be. It does not matter to me what their culture, their color, their race, their background, their socio-economic experience is. Every individual in the earth has innate, intrinsic value and worth. And what seems to be lost in the fog of the delusion of separation is the value that we're supposed to have for our brothers and our sisters and the people that we encounter from day to day. That we seemingly have lost the idea that when I see you, I am seeing God. That when I encounter you, I'm encountering God in a unique form and a unique experience, and that you are no less God than I. And I am no less God than you. That you are no less divine than I. And I am no less divine than you. That there is no hierarchy of divinity. Let me say again. There is no hierarchy of divinity. No one has cornered the market on spirituality and oneness or connectivity with God, that every one of us are equally and fully God, expressed uniquely in our own lived experience. And so what is required as spirits being human is that we are first consciously aware that we are encountering other diversities of expressions of spirit, that they are being, meaning that their experience and expression of humanity may very well differ from mine. And guess what? That's okay. Woo, Lord, did you hear what I just said? I know that's not deep or profound, but it is is necessary to understand that everyone's unique experience of being is absolutely okay. It is acceptable. It is good if it is good for them. I don't get to determine what your experience is, and you don't get to determine what my experience is. We are each creating uniquely our own experience in every single moment and every breath that we breathe, that we are each experiencing and expressing. Each of us expressing or living out our uniqueness in a way that serves us best. Let me say it again, that each of us are expressing or living out our lived experience in a way that best serves us. It may not mirror your expression. It may be an expression that you don't necessarily like, that you don't understand, or that it is completely antithetical to your expression, but it is still of value and worth as long as it serves the individual, as long as it does not serve to bring hurt, harm, or destruction to any other person. That you have the right, let me say it again, you have the right, the capacity, the authority, the power to express and experience this life in the way that you choose. God does not force itself upon us, nor does it move us around like little marionettes and the puppeteer, nor does it chain us, constrict us, or limit us, but gives us the liberty and freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty, freedom to experience and express our humanity in the way that best serves us. And if God does not place those limitations upon us, and I told you before, the thing that the soul resists more than anything else is limitation. If God does not place those limitations upon us, then who are we to turn now and try and construct these limitations for the people that we encounter? You only get to determine what you will accept in your life. You do not get to determine the lived experience of another. And ladies and gentlemen, not only do you not get to choose or determine for another, you don't get to determine the worth or the value of that person's lived experience. You can only determine the value and the worth of your own experience, and that is relative to what you desire. But you do not get to do that for other individuals. I've gotten way ahead of myself, but let me slow down, back up, and I want to read a particular parable from the scriptures that I think is germane to this conversation that we're having right now. It's found in Luke chapter 18, verses 9 through 14. I'm going to read through it very quickly. You can write it down and just read it later at your leisure, or if you can turn there quickly, navigate there quickly, you can read along with me. Luke chapter 18, beginning at verse 9 and reading through verse 14. And he spake a parable unto certain, listen, he spake a parable. This is purported to be Jesus, who is now giving an allegory, a metaphor, a parable, that to teach a higher principle, a spiritual principle that we can practically apply to our life, that can awaken our consciousness and cause us to shift our perspective and perception in a manner that is more in tune with God. Listen to what is happening. It says, and he spake this parable, this parable, this metaphor unto certain, watch this, here's the target audience, which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. Here is the target audience of the parable. Here is the thrust of the parable. He is speaking to those who are self-righteous and judgmental. Oh, God have mercy. I need y'all to hear what I just said. That the parable here is targeted toward those who are self-righteous and at the same time judgmental. He spake a parable unto those who would trust in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. Here's the parable. Two men went up into the temple to pray. One was a Pharisee. The Pharisees were the religious leaders, the scholars of their day. And the other was a publican. Now, publicans were some of the most hated people amongst the Jews. And why were they so hated, intensely hated by the Jews? Not just because they were tax collectors, and they certainly hated paying taxes, but what made them so hated among the Jews were the fact that publicans were Jews themselves who had enlisted to work for the Romans in order to collect the taxes and oppress their own people. And so the Jews looked at them as essentially traitors who had turned against their own in order to work for their oppressor. Lord, that's a whole nother message right there. I could preach that. I could stay there and ride that wagon for a while, but I'm not going to. That's not my assignment tonight. That's not my assignment. And he says there was the Pharisee and this publican. Watch this. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus within himself. So he is now praying within his soul, his consciousness, his mind. He is giving us a clear, Jesus is about to give us a clear insight in this person's conscious perception of themselves. Listen to what he says. The publican prayed, God, I thank you that I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, and even this traitor, publican. Y'all not hearing me. Listen to the self-righteous prayer of this religious person. Listen to what is coming from the lips of this religious leader, scholar, person. He says, I'm so glad I'm not like other people, and then begins to list the things that he's not doing. Yes, I'm not an extortioner, I'm not an adulterer, I'm not unjust, and I'm certainly not a traitor. I fast twice a week and I give tithe of all that I possess. Let me pause for 1 second in the story. This publican puts me in the mind of so many people today. It speaks in context of the religious people, those in religion who tend to look down their noses at others who may not live the same lifestyle that they live. And so they tend to create an us and them separation. Y'all not hearing me? As if because you are elder, bishop, missionary, apostle, prophet, so-and-so, because you are tongue-talking, bench-walking, floor rolling, bubble spitting, falling out and hollering and jumping and hollering and screaming, that somehow that makes you better than the drug dealer or the junkie or the prostitute, that somehow you are above them in better favor and relationship with God than they are, that somehow that God now looks upon you with greater love and admiration than he does those who are not doing the things that you, those who are doing things that you proclaim that I am not doing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is at the core of what has become the most dysfunctional, maladaptive part of religion and churches today. It is this idea that somehow in your exclusive club, you are somehow elevated above others, elevated above those that you consider to be sinners. Oh my goodness, I can't get nobody to talk back to me up in this place. That somehow what you do is of less offense than the visible things that others may be doing. I did a message, I taught a message some years ago that said, Lord, sanctify the me that nobody knows. Because every one of us have got some stuff hidden under the cover, some stuff that's behind the wall and closed away in a closet that we don't want nobody to know about. And what has happened within the religious community is that we have created an atmosphere that is conducive to lies, deceptions, and half-truths. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying. I know the church folk finna get mad at me tonight, but you're gonna be all right. You're gonna get this work tonight. We have created this culture, this environment, Lord have mercy, within the religious community where people have put on these masks and they are masquerading as though they have been elevated above everybody else, that I have a greater anointing, greater relationship, greater gifting, greater position, greater life than those who are not doing or do not ascribe to the same understanding or belief or ideology as I do. I coined the phrase, it is institutionalized hypocrisy. Lord have mercy. Institutionalized, did you hear what I said? Hypocrisy. Institutionalized means something that has become an established and commonly accepted part of a system or a culture. What makes it institutionalized is that it has become the norm for people to come to the church and just lie. Because the hypocrite, and I've said several times, is not the person who drinks and comes to church. Oh, God have mercy. It's not the person who does something that is of errant behavior and comes to church, but it's the one who drinks and comes to church and says, I don't drink. It's the one who is whorish and comes to church and says, I'm sanctified. I don't do nothing wrong, and act like butter won't melt in your mouth. It's the one that's pretending to be something that they're not. And ladies and gentlemen, Lord have mercy, that was never the intent for the gathering of the believers, the gathering of beings, spirit beings coming together. We come together to encourage, inspire, and empower one another. That's what we're supposed to do. James put it like this. James says, confess your error, sins, missing the mark, mistakes, misperceptions, one to another. And then he says, pray for one another. Not pray on each other, P-R-E-Y, but pray, P-R-A-Y, for each other. In other words, that the strong bear the infirmity of the weak, that those who may be struggling in this area can get help from those who are struggling in a different area, that every joint supplies. It's supposed to be the place where you can come and be naked and not ashamed. It's supposed to be the place where you can come and confess and be honest about who you are, where you are, what's happening with you, and nobody's going to judge you. Nobody's going to look down their nose at you. Nobody's going to talk about you. No one's going to belittle you. You're not going to be limited to what you can do within the church because you are honest. No, but we're going to pray for each other that we all might be healed, because the effectual fervent prayer of the righteous will avail much. Woo. There's the context of that scripture that you keep quoting out of context. Oh, the effectual fervent prayer of the righteous availeth much. And you praying for houses and cars and land and money and husbands and wives. You praying for everything but what the context of the text is talking about. It wasn't talking about praying for stuff. It wasn't talking about effectually and fervently praying for these creature comforts and all these other things. It was talking about praying for each other, interceding on each other's behalf, holding each other up, strong holding up the weak. It was about us praying and standing in the gap, covering our brother and sister because we love them with the love of God. Oh my goodness, it was about helping each other be the highest version of ourselves. That's what he was saying, the effectual fervent prayer of the righteous availeth much. What have you been effectively praying for? Who are you praying for? Who are you praying for? Instead of talking about and slandering and killing, oh God have mercy, who are you praying for? Instead of gossiping and ostracizing and denigrating, who are you praying for? Lord, I can't get nobody to holler back at me in this virtual community. Who are you praying for? Who are you standing in the gap for? Are you the Pharisee that says, Lord, I'm so glad I'm not like these other folk. I'm so glad I ain't doing the stuff that these folk are doing, and I'm better than these traitors and publicans and sinners. I'm better than these extortioners. I'm better than this. Look at me, how wonderful I am. Y'all not hearing what I'm saying, when in fact what you are doing is exalting the parts of you that you want to brag about. But come on, let's open the closet. Come on, let's pull back the covers. Come on, let's talk about the stuff that you keep hiding on your resume that you don't want nobody to read this part of. Let's talk about the things that you're ashamed of, that you're embarrassed about. Let's talk about the things that you want to keep hidden in the closet somewhere because you want everybody to think you got the Holy Ghost running out out your nose and from between your toes and out your bosom, that you just you speaking in tongues, and when you see me coming, I got God on my mind. Oh, you are a lie. You are a lie. Y'all not saying nothing in here now. Come on, let's tell the truth. All your children don't have the same last name. Let's tell the truth in here. All of us got some things that are hidden away, that we somebody pulled the cover. We run screaming and crying, hiding somewhere because we be embarrassed about some of the things that we still continue to fight and struggle and wrestle with. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Where is our humanity? We are spirits being human. Where is our humanity, our compassion? Where is our care and our concern for our fellow man? Not just the one that we agree with. Mercy. Oh, not just the ones we agree with, not just the ones that sit right with us, not just the ones that align themselves or in allegiance, but can you love those that you disagree with? Can you disagree without becoming vitriolic and hateful and spiteful and malicious? Lord have mercy, I can't get nobody to holler back at me in here. We are living in the cancel culture where if you do or say or behave in a way that is anywhere outside of what has been deemed the acceptable norm, then at that moment you are judged and you are canceled. It doesn't matter how much good you've done, but everything is distilled down to the one act or the one choice or the one behavior that happens to be different outside of the norm, or it may have just been bad, it may have been terrible, it may have been horrendous, but who amongst us wants to be judged and labeled and defined by the worst choices and the worst moments of our life? I can go down a list of so many people who have done so many exceptional things, have affected change in the lives of people, and then when society found out that that person had feet of clay, that person they put on the pedestal was just another human, they were crucified, they were killed, they were canceled, they were destroyed. Y'all not hearing me? And all of their years of service and work and labor and good are completely erased and eradicated because of that one reality. Y'all not hearing what I'm saying up in here? The entire landscape is littered with people who have been put on a pedestal which they never should have been on in the first place. You want to put them there and then blame them for not being perfect. You want to put them there and blame them for not being complete, for having flaws, for being human. You put them there, put a cape around their neck and call them super and worship and adore them and roll out the carpets and call them your majesty, your highness, and so on and so forth, your grace and your eminence and all of these things. And then when you find out that they have feet of clay, all of a sudden the accolades leave and now they are canceled and erased. Glory to God. But where is the idea, the understanding that that person is another expression and version of me, and therefore I want to make sure that I entreat them with the same love that I have for myself. Here is the golden rule, called to be golden rule, that you love your neighbor as you love yourself. It's more than just you spouting off words. I love you, but no, love is not followed with a but. I love you, that's it. Y'all not hearing me. I love you, so I forgive you. I love you, so I offer you the same grace that I desire for myself. I love you, so I offer you the mercy that I desire for myself. I love you, so I'm going to give you the same benefit that I want for myself. Isn't it ironic that people can be vitriolic, mean, malicious, and nasty in tearing down those who are in the limelight or whose moment of weakness and failure is revealed? But when their time comes, they want understanding, grace, and mercy. Lord have mercy, but you got to be merciful in order to receive mercy. What you say, Jesus is purported to say in Matthew chapter 5. Blessed are the merciful, because they shall obtain mercy. He goes on to say, blessed are the peacemakers, because they are the children of God. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Not the hell raisers, but the peacemakers. Not the gossipers, the distorters, but the peacemakers. Not the ones who take the axe and try and cut down the tree, but the peacemaker. He said they reflect the nature, the image, and the isness of God. There's another one. In verse 9, he said, blessed are the pure in heart. Blessed are the pure in heart, because they shall see and perceive God clearly. In other words, when my heart is pure, then I don't see the issue, the problem, the failure, the fault, but I see the God that has had a fall. I see the God that has gone awry. I see the God that has malfunctioned. I see the God that is expressing itself in a maladaptive way. And so I'm not going to judge them because I recognize the God in them. I'm going to restore such a one with a spirit of meekness. I can't get nobody to holler back at me. Everybody want to be quiet now. Nobody want to give me no holler. Don't want to holler back at me. I can't get no hearts and no amens in this Facebook streets. Come on, holler back at your boy. Restore them and treat them with love, with loving kindness have I drawn them. Are you hearing me? I didn't even finish the parable. Let me finish it real quick. I got caught up. He says, I've done all of these things, and I give all of my tithe and all of these things that I possess. And the publican standing afar off, this traitor, this person considered wicked, a sinner, a traitor, standing afar off, would not so much as lift up his eyes unto heaven. He was holding his head down in shame and embarrassment, which is the response of a person who has been delegitimized, the response of a person who has been so devalued. They feel dejected, they feel rejected, they lost their esteem, they can't look up because everyone around them has made them feel like they're worthless. And so he looks down and he smites his chest and then says, God, have mercy on me, an arid, sinful person, a person who's made many mistakes, a person that continues to trip up, goof, fumble, and fall, a person that continues to make some error choices, a person that continues to do some things that are antithetical to my character character and my nature. Do I have anybody that's on this line tonight who can tell the truth and say that I know that I have relationship with God, but sometimes I make some choices and decisions that are not reflective of my true character. They don't reflect who I am. They are not who I am in a moment of weakness, a moment of rage, a moment of anger, a moment of where I lost control. I did some things, I behaved in a way, I said some things that I should not have, that are outside of the parameters of my character. But I posted this earlier and I'll say it to you. You may have done what they said you did, but you are not who they say you are. You cannot allow yourself to be defined by the worst decisions and choices of your life. And I don't care what Negroes and ninjas have to say, you gotta stand firm in the fact that none of that defines your character. It just means that I made an error choice, but now that I recognize it, I vibrate higher, I begin to understand better, and I make a different choice that would better serve me. And I'm not going to allow you to tether and tie me to the worst decision of my life. You may have done what they said you did, but you are not who they say you are. Are y'all hearing me? Listen to this, listen to this. I gotta go. I'm out of time. It says that Christ concludes the parable by saying this. He says, I tell you, this man, that is the publican, the traitor, the one considered to be a sinner, he says, has gone down to his house justified, rather than the other. For everyone who exalts himself shall be abased, and he that humbles himself shall be exalted. Listen to what he said. He says, the one who is humble, who recognizes that I am a divine, infinite being that is existing and experiencing itself in a finite body with a mind that is not fully consciously aware of itself. Y'all not hearing what I'm saying. Therefore, I am liable to make some choices and decisions that are errant, that are bad, that are antithetical to my nature, my character, and my divinity. But whom God has chosen, them he predestined, and whom he did predestine, them he also justified. That means that God already made provision for every error that we might make, every mistake in judgment, every misperception, misstep, every misbehavior. God has already made provision for it, and all you have to do is humbly embrace the grace that is already provided for you and recognize that you are justified. Are you hearing what I said? You are justified. There is no condemnation. Those who would exalt themselves and walk in self-righteousness, the reason that they are abased, the reason the word abased there means humiliated, brought low, or embarrassed. The reason they are abased, because when you are self-righteous, you are living under pretense. You are living in denial, and pretense or hypocrisy. You are pretending that the thing doesn't exist, and what you don't address will begin to progress. Are you hearing what I'm saying? What you pretend isn't there will begin to grow and make everyone aware. Are you hearing what I'm saying to you? You cannot heal what you are unwilling to admit exists. Christ. You cannot get free from a thing that you are unwilling to confess is real in your life. Whatever you keep covered will continue to fester and grow and eat away at you and deteriorate, and a cancer formed that begins to eat you alive because you are too proud, too self-righteous to tell yourself the truth. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't tell nobody else, at least tell yourself the truth. If you got to lie to everybody else that you meet, please, whatever you do, don't lie to yourself. Tell yourself the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, our job as spirits is to be human. To be human is to be kind, to be considerate, to be loving, to be caring. The very essence, the being, the power of God is love. It is the greatest expression of God is love. You can't be mean, nasty, vitriolic, malicious, angry, hateful, God, and then think that you are somehow expressing the isness of God. No, ma'am. No, sir. The scriptures even teach in Romans chapter 12, verse, I think it's verse 9 and verse 10. In verse 9 he says, let love be without dissimulation. That word dissimulation there says, let it be genuine. In other words, not fake, phony, or pretentious. Love, not that fake, pretentious type of love. He says, but let it be genuine. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? He says, let that love be genuine, not pretentious, not fake, not phony, not hypocritical. Are y'all understanding? Then he turns around in verse 10 and follows it up by saying, and be kindly affectionate toward one another. Above all else, be kind. I made a post the other day. It costs you nothing to just be kind. Doesn't cost you a nickel. Doesn't cost you a dime. Not 1 red cent. All it costs is love. To just be kind. You don't have anything good to say? Shut up. You can't say something sweet or nice? Then be quiet. Be silent and pray. And pray for yourself, because if you can't find anything good to say, the problem is not them. The problem is you. There's good in everybody. No matter how crazy they might seem, there's good in everybody. Are you hearing me? He says, be kindly affectionate one with another. Did you hear what I said? Be kindly affectionate. Be kind and loving, caring, affectionate, compassionate, merciful, graceful with each other. Because we all have to consider ourselves that while I may be riding high today, I can stumble tomorrow. And my closet be opened and my secrets exposed and my issues come out. Y'all not hearing me, and I start bleeding in front of everybody. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? That's what really being human is about. Spirits were absolutely perfect and flawless. But they're learning how to be human, flawed, error, finite. How do I navigate this three-dimensional existence? And I'm learning as I go what it takes to be innately human. I'm sorry, I know I went over time. I did, Lord, I went well over time. I'm going to run over here to the comments real quick and see if I If any of you put anything in there, any questions or anything like that. Okay, I don't see any questions, but I do see some really good comments. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it's about. This is what it means to be human. So let's do better. Let's start with you and me. We can't control everybody, but I think that if we all start being a little more human, kind, affectionate, caring, compassionate, graceful, merciful, that we can start to send out these vibrations of love that will positively impact everyone around us. And before you know it, we can start changing the minds and attitudes one person at a time. As we meet vitriol with love and kindness. As we meet malice, hatred, and anger with mercy, grace, and love. Not going real for real, tit for tat, bite for bite. You kill my dog, I'm gonna kill your cat. No. But loving, forgiving, and giving each other the benefit of grace that we so desperately need for ourselves. All right. I pray that you were positively impacted by the teaching on tonight, this conversation, this discussion. I pray that you will take away from this some principles that you can apply to your life, and we can begin to make a marketable, measurable difference in the world. I want to encourage those of you who haven't done so already to go over to the website and to get a copy of my book. Let me take that down. Get a copy of the book, or you can just send me a Cashapp or PayPal or Zelle, or go to the website and order your copy. It says pre-order, but the book is here now, so you can actually order the book, the paperback or the ebook, and get your copy today. Your support is absolutely appreciated and necessary. I'm going to ask you to continue to support me by purchasing your copy today. And as always, if you are partners with this movement, as well as others who may have benefited from the teaching tonight, I'm going to ask you to be generous in your giving and sow a generous seed tonight. There are some of you that tune in regularly and don't ever sow anything, and maybe you're not in a position to do so, and if not, then that's okay. It's perfectly understandable, but it's right for you. It is a privilege for you to be able to sow into the thing that is providing you inspiration and empowerment and revelation. So I'm going to encourage you to take advantage of the opportunity to be able to give, to express your generosity. You can use Cashapp, Zelle, or PayPal, but do sow your most generous seed tonight if you can and if you will. All right, so with all of that being said, there's the music. We're getting ready to get out of here. Listen, I want to say to all of you that are watching me right now, we may not be on Sunday night. Ooh, let me turn this down a little bit. We may not be on this Sunday night. I don't know, I'm kind of in transition, making some moves. It depends on whether or not I'm going to be stationary in a place where I can set up and we can get on there. Hopefully I can. But either way, you will know, especially if you signed up for text notifications. I'll make sure that you know way ahead of time. But as it stands right now, just look for me on Sunday night, but we may not be able to make it. If not, you will know. Either way, I'm going to let you know, okay? I will let you know. Thank you all so much for just being so kind, so caring, and for coming out and participating in this conversation. So, go and have a fantastic evening, and tomorrow, make it the best day ever. Good night, everybody.
Every day we encounter many people without saying a word to them. Imagine being able to share the gift of joy with them, to bring a smile to their face or give them a spark of inspiration. Without saying a word, you can positively impact their life by simply wearing a humanity. Humanity also offers a unique approach to engage friends in enlightened conversation, all while exhibiting classic style. These shirts have been pre-shrunk to maintain their shape and pigment after washing. You will find this shirt is neither too light nor too heavy for your usual daily activities. Whether you're into casual lounging, active layering, or just want the softest t-shirt against your skin, you'll be pleasantly surprised by this traditional tee. To view our diverse product line, visit our website and click on the Humanity tab. Humanity, the very best in inspirational apparel.
Thank you for tuning in. And be sure to catch us every Sunday at 7 p.m. for empowerment.
That we are a unique expression.
Every Thursday at 7 p.m. for momentum.
The creation of God and the God who created him.
Once again, be sure to follow us on all social media platforms. And we'll see you next time.